Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fire Up. Are we fired up tonight or what?
It's about as
Woo-hoo!
fired up as you're going to get out of me.
I hear you. I hear you. I know you're having
Patty
some
Grimes.
issues.
Look at this. They're coming out of the woodworks already.
All right. That's what we
Hey,
like to
Grant,
see.
what's up, Patty?
We will
Okay.
probably
Well,
see AI shortly. I just messaged them.
so I should introduce my crew. Of course, my co-host, Smoking Jeremy B. How are you?
Good evening. I've been better, been worse. Guess what? I'm still here. That's all that matters.
That's true. That is so true. And then our usual guest, or I should say almost another co-host because you're on all the time, Mr.
That's it.
Ralph Williams. How are you?
I'm good, Candy. Thank you. And thank you for the introduction, as always. It's great to be here. Almost didn't make it, but we're here tonight. As you see, I'm wearing green glasses because I have some issues with my eyes. But other than that, I'm feeling better. And, so here we are. I'm ready to go, ready to talk.
Would
Sounds
that make
good.
us tri-host? Because it's three?
What's that? Green,
Would
yeah,
that
they're
make us
green
tri-host?
glasses.
I said, would
I
that
don't know
make
what
us
it's called.
tri-host because we're three?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
That if Orlando's talking about the fake Tom Pellisario that made a fake post about Crosby blowing up in the locker room, yeah, it's fake. It never happened.
No, that didn't happen at all. I mean, come on. Crosby's a nice guy. He would never blow up in the locker room at anybody.
Ooh, Adebo, the safety for the is that the safety for the Broncos, Wardell?
Got carted off the field. Wow.
That's never good.
Oh, you're talking about Max Crosby. Okay, I thought you were talking about
Yeah,
Sid.
they're talking about Max Crosby, and
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Oh my goodness, I keep trying to.
Patty said, "Seriously, get better." Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Patty. Thank you.
You don't need to put his up. That's the same troll that always is. That isn't my son. No, the CB. Okay. Yes, Will, we
Well,
are doing fantastic.
hello, Will. I haven't seen you in forever. Hope all is well. Okay. Well, I know everyone's like getting into the football talk, but there is another sport playing, and they're actually in their postseason. So I thought we would lead with the one that's in their postseason.
Yeah.
So
The
tonight,
Guardians are trying to make it a series.
yes, the Guardians, the Yankees lead the series 2-1, but the Guardians took the game today 7-5. It's a final, and it went 10 innings to do so. Interesting. And the win was Pedro Avila, and the losing pitcher is Clay Holmes.
Yeah,
But
didn't he give up another 2-run homer?
Hey, Clay Holmes. He used to be a former Pirate. Clay Holmes. I know Clay Holmes.
To David Fry, right?
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And here goes the Broncos driving down the field again. Holy smoke!
Yeah, Guardians won today 7-5. And then the Dodgers and the Mets, it's 3-1 Dodgers, bottom of the third.
It is that Cleveland game, though. As I look at it, the score was 7-5. Cleveland, they both teams had errors, but Cleveland had 11 hits to the Yankees only 6. So it sounds like the Cleveland bats were moving. It was played at
I'm actually going to come on here and I'm going to say I was wrong because I thought the LA Dodgers were going to choke again like they do every year, in the first round of playoffs. They did not. They've moved on. So I was wrong. And I've been wrong too much lately. I got to start getting right again.
It looks like the Dodgers, if they win tonight, that series is done because they'll be up 3-1.
Yeah. So.
But, I don't expect the Mets as much as they're paid to go quietly into that good night.
Well, and the other thing is I was listening to some of the announcers before the game, and even though some of the games, the score would lead you to believe they were very lopsided, they have said that the teams are really more evenly matched, and they're not that bad. So, But yes, playoff baseball. It'll be interesting to see. The Dodgers do lead them 3-1, although the bases are loaded. The Mets have the bases loaded at this point with only one out. So we will see. It only takes one swing. So
Yeah, exactly.
who do we think we have? Who do we think is going to go to the World Series?
I think it's going to be Dodgers Yankees.
Yeah, I agree with Jeremy. I don't see the Guardians, although it could happen. Sad to see the Tigers didn't move forward.
Eventually, when you only have one valid starting pitcher and you're doing the bullpen thing, it comes back to bite you. I just think they saw it too much and they got used to what we were doing and they adjusted their bats to what the pitchers were doing.
Well, the Pirates did that this year. Derek Shelton, I don't know how many times had a starter come in for 3 innings and then use his bullpen the rest of the way, and just, it's just every time he does that, they lose.
I agree, Robert. MLB, media, TV revenue, they all want Ohtani versus Judge series. Yep.
Oh, that's going to be nuts.
That was Javonte Williams that rushed it in from about a little over 10 yards out.
Patty says Cleveland and New York. So we'll see how that goes.
I think it would be interesting if it was a Yankees Mets, a Subway
series. There you go. Yes.
I thought that would be best because that's the biggest media market, but the second biggest media market in the United States is LA. So if LA gets in, that keeps the West Coast and the East Coast going, and it's great for the airline.
It is.
You got that right. Right. That's if the airlines can keep up.
And that, with the trouble that Boeing's in, they need as much help with the airlines
as much help as they get. Exactly.
Well, and the other thing that if it goes coast to coast, then the times are always kind of weird for one fan base or not. Whereas if it was the Subway series, it would always be Eastern, and they wouldn't have to. I wonder if they would still take as many travel days because they wouldn't need them. But okay, so it is still bases loaded. 1 out. 3-1.
Is that on ESPN?
It is on FS1.
Okay.
It is on. When I was looking through all the things that were on TV tonight, you can watch NFL football, you can watch NBA, you can watch MLB, you can watch NHL, like all of it is going on. So
yeah, I see Boston College versus Virginia Tech. I'd like to see what Bill O'Brien's team.
And there's some college football going on as well. Well, it seems like most of the people in our chat room want to talk football, so we might as well. Let's talk.
I'm evil. Sorry. Football, and more football?
Yeah, let's talk some football. Any trades happen today or anything like that we need to put out there?
We can talk about Davante Adams trade. I didn't hear about anything today that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Yeah, Davante Adams went to the Jets.
Yep, and now he's going to play with crybaby Aaron Rodgers.
And then the more astonishing move was Cooper to the Bills, because I don't think anybody saw that coming. Everybody knew that Adams wanted to go to the Jets.
Well, we knew he wanted to go one place or the other. Well, either he was going to, reunite with Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers. He has more of a history with Aaron Rodgers, and let's face it, with Derek Carr having the oblique injury, we don't know how much he's going to be in there or not. So Davante decided to go back to what was familiar and Aaron. Now, does that improve the Jets? Yes. Will it make a difference is the question.
If they had traded a bigger piece of that defense that they don't need, like in the secondary part. I'm going to name a certain name. They should trade Reddick for offensive linemen. They need offensive line help because that'll help Aaron Rodgers much more than another valid target. Because Mike Williams is a valid target, but a true leader doesn't throw his teammates or anyone else under the bus when he makes a mistake. I was under pressure and I threw it where he was supposed to be. That's not what you're supposed to say as a quarterback if you're the leader of that team. As a leader and a mentor, you're supposed to say, yeah, I made a bad throw, and leave it at that. You don't hear a lot of other quarterbacks making that type of stuff.
Right. Nope. Well, and it's Aaron Rodgers, the GM. He probably said after that game, I need guys that are going to catch these balls that I'm throwing, and so there goes Devontae. Okay. Well, there was another trade this week, though. Why don't you elaborate on that one, Jeremy?
Which one?
The
Cooper trade?
Yes.
Well, Cooper,
Yeah,
Amari Cooper wanted
trade. I
out.
forgot about that. Wow.
The one thing I can tell you about Amari Cooper is he runs great routes. As far as hands, believe it or not, he has the highest drop rate of any wide receiver in the league since he was drafted in 2015. So I don't think his hands are as sure as everybody thinks. But what it will do for the Bills is it gives him another target that will be open. It's just whether or not he catches the ball.
I agree. Ralph, what did you think about that trade?
Oh, you know what? Amari Cooper probably he wanted out of Cleveland. I don't think he really wanted to be there. They're a failing team. They're 1-5. They got the Deshaun Watson mess. I wouldn't want to be there either. Jameson Winston can't find his way out of a paper bag, as far as from what I'm told. So, being it's a bad organization, Amari Cooper, moving on to something else. Let's see what he does. Change of atmosphere, Candy and Jeremy, always works out in some cases for some people. But Amari Cooper's been around the league. But I maybe this time, he'll stay where he is.
True. Maybe. Sometimes it does. Thanks, Fernando. Team Candy, you gotta love that. Ha ha.
Yeah, we're all part of Team Candy on this show.
Exactly. What do we think the Lions are going to do now that Aiden Hutchinson is out for a while?
Well, for right now, this week, I think it's going to be defensive end by committee. They picked up Isaiah Thomas, defensive end that was drafted in 2019 by the Browns, but was on the Bengals practice squad. What's funny about him being drafted by the Browns is it was the 7th round, 223rd pick. The reason why I bring that up is that was the Detroit Lions pick. They traded to the Cleveland Browns to get David Blau. So it's a full circle moment of how they got the pick, and now he ends up with Detroit. He's already practicing when somebody needs to come off the field with the first team, and he's got a great bull rush and a decent first step, and it's actually surprised Penei Sewell and Decker. He hasn't gotten a sack yet, but he's been pushing them back, and they're not used to that.
No, not at all. Well, we'll see where Detroit goes with that. We're down Zach Frazier, our center, and we got a backup plan. So Aiden Hutchinson is a very key ingredient to Detroit, and I'd like to. I hope he comes back soon. But if he's done for the whole year, we'll see what Jeremy knows. What kind of backup's going to come in for him?
So I think the starting line for Detroit is going to be Pascal on one side, Reeder and Aleem in the middle, and then they're going to move Levi on Uzariki, who's had success getting pressure from the outside when he's been in relief roles when either Aiden or Pascal comes off the field. So you can say Hockenson was a sack hog, but when he was off the field, that's when the other sacks would happen for everybody else. So Detroit Lions have just as many sacks through 5 games with the rest of everybody else
Hi,
as they
Jen.
did with Aiden Hutchinson through
Hey,
5 games.
Jen.
Most of his sacks came in that Tampa game where he damn near set the record for sacks with 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He the doctor that did the surgery at University of Michigan on Hutchinson the first time came on Woodward Sports on Tuesday. It was after the surgery. And they said yes, it's normally a 4 to 6 month recovery time because he has no tendon damage, he has no nerve damage, no vein damage or muscle damage, which is a godsend. That's the bullet that he dodged. If there was any of that, then it becomes an Alex Smith almost career-ending type of injury. But because of that, and it's a much better break than what he had with his right leg when he was a freshman in college, he said there's a 55% probability because the kid does nothing but drink milk and eat high calcium foods, and he has an outside shot, a 55% shot of being back after 3 months, which means I don't think they'd start him in the playoffs, but if they make the Super Bowl, he could be there for them. But it's only a 55% chance. It's not likely. It's just
Right.
a possibility. That's what
Correct.
I'm saying.
Correct. And I mean, everybody heals differently and stuff like that. So it really, and they often you will hear people say that a clean break you heal from quicker than a sprain or anything like that because that lingers. But so we'll see. I mean, the one thing about Aiden is that he was the life of that team. Like he brought so much energy that I hope that there is somebody else that will step up and help bring that and same energy.
Well,
So,
energy or injuries now, Candy and Jeremy, is like this. The reason why there's a lot of injuries here in the National Football League is because of conditioning. A lot of these guys are not doing the conditioning like they used to do. And what's happening now is they're getting a lot of injuries: groin, hamstring, ankle, knees, and it's getting more and more common now. And then, like Jeremy and I have talked about numerous times about this new bargaining agreement where they're going to cut the workout times and things like that down and everything else. There's nothing wrong with working out on your own, and I think now the mentality of these guys is why work out and why put in a full effort? I'm getting paid. Who cares? That's where we are today, and
and
it's a fact.
while that is a fact with about probably 65% of the league is what I'm going to say. There's always those few that come back in better shape, looking like they worked out all off season. You want to know what's crazy about that? One of those teams is the Detroit Lions. Everybody who left last season came back. Broderick Martin weighed 340 pounds and had like 70% body fat. He came back at less than 20% body fat and cut 25 pounds off his frame, which is why he was having a better bend. But I will say the lack of two-a-days is what's leading to the soft tissue injuries. Because when they had the two-a-days, soft tissue injuries, before they lowered the preseason regimen down even more, it was up 33% after two-a-days was taken away. And as soon as they lowered the preseason even more and less workouts and less time and less OTAs, they actually went up another 8%.
Absolutely, and but like I said, that's where we are today. We talked about that on the radio show today about how guys are not working out like they used to, and it's crazy. You know,
Well, and I was watching one of the interviews that Brett Favre did, and he was talking about when he learned of his diagnosis, which he's diagnosed with Parkinson's, and he said that the doctors say, "Is there anybody in your relatives that has had Parkinson's?" Because that's the first trigger. Is typically it's
yes,
hereditary, and he said no. And he goes, well, then you got it from all your hits, all your concussions. That's the second trigger. So I think that's why it's really important that Tua really think about his future and what he wants to do with it. But I have a question for the two of you.
Go ahead.
What is the rarest play in NFL? It's so rare that it has never happened yet.
Almost the Statue of Liberty, right?
Yeah.
What's the Statue of Liberty?
That's the one where they make it look like they hand it off to one guy, and he sits there and holds it behind his back and waits for everybody to chase him down, and then he turns around and runs the opposite way. Or are you talking about the hook and ladder?
Nope.
No, the
It's-
hook and ladder, they use that.
It's a scoring play. But it's the rarest scoring. It's the rarest play in the NFL, and it has never
Oh, is
happened.
that the block
it's never-
extra point for 2 points?
It's a 1-point safety. Is the rarest play
Oh,
in the
I
NFL.
was going to say drop kick because I've never seen that. That's a 1-point play.
Oh, so you're talking about when they're going for the 2-point conversion, because if they fumble it and the defense returns it, that's a 1-point play.
Correct. And it's never happened yet in the NFL. I just thought that was kind of interesting. You know, I bring sometimes these interesting.
I was just going to say drop kick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's ever happened either. Although I could be
Drop
wrong.
kick for a field goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never happened, because so far, luckily, every guy that's tried to run it in on the 2-point play has been able to hold the ball, whether they made it or not.
Wow. Okay. Ralph, that was cool.
Yeah, I know. Well, I remember the drop kick from the longest yard. Remember he did the drop kick, and the referee was like, "I haven't seen that in so long." Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, guys. What games are you looking forward to this weekend?
Are we talking college or NFL or both?
You tell me. Whichever.
Ralph, you go first.
Well, I'm interested to see what the Steelers do against the Jets. Jets coming in with a new the coach and general manager Aaron Rodgers. We're going to find out what's going on with the Jets. So, but anyway, I'm also checking out some of these college games that are coming up here this week. So, hang on a minute, let me get it where I need to be. There we go. Okay.
I don't blame you, J.I. I don't blame you, J.I.
All right, tonight we got Georgia State versus Marshall. I like this BC Virginia Tech game, which I'm going to check out in a few here. Oh, I got the baseball game on now. Tomorrow night we got Florida State versus Duke. I'd like to see what Manny Diaz's team has made against Florida State. Mike Norvell's team has been horrible. Oregon's going to wipe up Purdue. Purdue stinks. Oklahoma State versus BYU. That's going to be an interesting game. Fresno State versus Nevada. Nevada's offensive coordinator is Brandon Marin. He runs a go offense down there. Let's see. Saturday, Miami at Louisville. Virginia at Clemson. Nebraska at Illinois. Oh, I believe it's Illinois. Yeah. And then Auburn at Missouri. Auburn's terrible. They haven't had a good year in a long time. So Wisconsin, they're playing 12 noon.
Mm-hmm.
Useless LA versus Rutgers. I'd like to see that. That's going to be an interesting game. Wake Forest versus UConn with Jim Moore Jr. We got a lot of games here. There's some really good ones too. Alabama, Tennessee. That's going to be the bet. That's going to be a good game right there.
Okay, Jay's got a question for you, Ralph. Who wins, Nebraska or Illinois?
You know what? Illinois could upset them because Illinois' got a good team this year, and their coach is Brent Bielema, and he's won everywhere he's been, and now he's at Illinois, and he's fixed that program up. Levy Smith ran it into the ground. Looks like Santa Claus on the sideline, and but But yeah, I think Illinois might upset Nebraska. We'll see. Matt Rule, if his team doesn't beat themselves, I think they're gonna, Nebraska could win. It's gonna be a dogfight. It's gonna be a really good game.
So wait, Jay. Nebraska doesn't play Illinois. So I don't know if that was a trick question or what you were thinking, because Illinois plays Michigan this week.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Nebraska plays somebody else. Indiana, I think.
Yeah, they're playing Indiana. I
Yeah,
think
they're
that's
playing
who he was
Indiana.
talking about. Michigan.
Nebraska should win that game, but Indiana's number 16 in the country, and they got a pretty decent team this year. Whoops, that's right, Jay. That's my fault.
No,
I mean, I
no,
think
you might be saying that. But Candy, I need to know, what is your shirt size in men's?
I'll text you later.
Okay. Well, because somebody just gave away your Christmas gift in the chat.
Mine's a 4X. So
Jay,
you're giving
I
away
know
shirts,
none of us
mine's
are perfect. None of us are perfect, but
He already paid for it too.
well, thank you, Jay. You did not need to do that, but thank you. And Jay, your book that you ordered is in the mail. In fact, let me do a quick station identification break because my husband likes that. My husband, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, wrote the book Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Apple, and Google Books. Get your copy as a Christmas gift today. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where you can get that, or you can get all kinds of South Florida Tribune merchandise or Motor City Madmouth merchandise. So if you're from, the Motor City and you want that or what not, go to our website, click on the link to our store, and shop away. Go to our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, read Jeremy's writings. I take pictures. Go look at all the plethora of stuff we have on there. If you like to listen to podcasts, we're wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to advertise or sponsor a show, you can call Scott 954-304-4941. Okay, back to our comments. Okay, pop quiz for the legendary hosts. Best football sports movie ever.
I can give you that real quick.
Or okay, you want to do football, or you want to do best sports movie ever?
Football movies.
I'm going to go by category when I do mine, but I'll let Ralph go first.
All right, mine is football, and I got Any Given Sunday at number 1. Number 2, Remember the Titans, and number 3, Invincible.
All right. For drama.
And number 4, The Longest Yard. But that's with Burt Reynolds.
The original Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds is one of my favorites. The Program, Friday Night Lights, and Remember the Titans are my 4 best dramas. My comedy one, and there's only one that I love that is football related, and that's The Replacement. I quote that movie a lot.
Yeah, that is funny. That's a funny movie. Yeah.
And for baseball, I don't care if it's drama, whatever. It's a tie at the top between Bull Durham and the original Major League.
I like The Rookie with Dennis Quaid. That's my number.
That would be in the drama category. I stuck with the comedy. In the drama, it would be The Rookie. For the Love of the Game.
Brewster's Millions. Love of the Game too. Yeah.
No, Brewster Millions. That type of comedy. I was talking about baseball. It was loosely had baseball in Brewster's Millions, but it wasn't based off of baseball.
Oh, it wasn't based on baseball. You're right. I mean, but had a little bit of baseball.
Rudy. There's We Are Marshall. That was a good one.
There's lots of honorable mentions that you could throw in there. Unnecessary Roughness was one of the first ones that was funny, but that's more about college football. If you go college football, the best series I ever seen was in the late 80s, early 90s, had Delta Burke as a football team owner, First and 10 on HBO, with Fran Tarkenton as the color analyst on there. And then there was, for college, Blue Mountain State. That was hilarious. Brian Song.
Honorable mention, Gridiron Gang. That was a mention. Honorable mention.
Jay, I asked about
Rock.
what was the one with the Bears player who died from cancer. That was Brian's song.
Brian's song, that was a good one. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
an honorable mention.
There's a lot of them that I like that are baseball. Like, I mean, I do like, I
Hey,
do like
Forrest
Major
Gump.
League, of course.
Oh,
I liked, why can't I think of the if you build it, they will come. Jeez. Can't think of the, I mean, I can say now this was, yeah, Sandlot is good. Field of Dreams is one of my favorites. In fact, we've been to Jay, we were at the Field of Dreams. If you check out our YouTube channel, there is there's a couple of videos. One is Scott coming out of the cornfield, and then we actually did an interview with one of the guys that gives tours of Field of Dreams. So yes, we were at the field. So that was really cool. That was really, really cool. He did an interview. We were upstairs in the house in the bedroom overlooking the field. So that was cool. I can say, not that you ever see me, but I actually was a paid extra in the sports movie Mr. 3000, which is Bernie Williams, Bernie Mac. So that, yeah, it was actually, that was filmed in Milwaukee. So yes, I was actually a paid extra in that. So that was kind of cool that I got a little bit of money, very little, but yes. So no, we did not choke on.
I'll tell you a movie that extras could have came out and made a bunch of money, and all they had to do was sit in the stands. Was the Batman movie? Batman, not retired, not the Batman. The Batman Begins. Then it was Batman's with the Joker, and then the last one, the third one of Christopher Nolan, where it was filmed in Pittsburgh. They asked for extras to fill Heinz Field for a football game, and they only got about 12,000 people, and they were paying $15 an hour plus food, free food. The Dark Knight, yeah, The Dark Knight Rises. That's the one. Okay, the one made in Pittsburgh. Thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Yeah.
have been there in a minute if I wasn't doing something. I would have been there in a minute.
Nick, you didn't like it? You don't like the show? I'm sorry. Go ahead, hit it again. We like it when you like the show.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have been blessed. When I say I've been blessed, is in my lifetime. And granted, I'm only 54. I'm on my 55th revolution around the sun at this point.
Thanks, Jay.
I've lived in 41 cities in 5 different states. So I've had the pleasure of being able to go to different stadiums than most people would in their lifetime because I lived near them. Hell, let's face it, in 96, even though I had just finally recovered from my Achilles tendon, the Tennessee Titans, while they were the Oilers, did walk-on tryouts because they didn't have enough picks in the expansion draft to fill their team. And I was 1/10 of a second from being a defensive back in the NFL.
Wow. I
I
thought
ran a
only
four.
Mill and Philly did that. I didn't know that somebody else did.
They did it that first year in 1996, I believe. They did that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I ran a 4.75 as a 26-year-old smoker.
No.
So that isn't bad for a 26-year-old smoker. When I say I was a smoker back then, I was smoking 2.5 packs a day.
Whoa. Whoa.
So, say what you want. I was still in shape from the Army. What do I run now? I'm lucky if I get 5 seconds down a 40-yard hill rolling sideways.
It depends on what he's running to, or
He's a
running
bear.
from.
If a bear's behind me, I might run as fast as Jameson Williams.
Jeremy's a mean, lean fighting machine.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. So sports movies. I like some of those sports movies things. We're gonna have to do a theme like that. Do something different each time.
That would be a good thing to do. Is go with a different sports genre each week in the off season, when the news phase goes slow, right after the Super Bowl.
Correct.
because the news phase goes super slow until
They're 5-2.
if a JI says if a bear is behind me, I'm a gunner. I don't know. I don't care if I got a bad back. I don't care if I got a broken leg. I'm getting to a tree and getting up it and praying to God the bear can't knock it down.
I'll tell you a good bear story. I was in Boy Scout camp and we were in our tents, and a bear came through our campsite. And it was this kid. He was 600 pounds. And he was up at the dining hall, and he had to run to his campsite. When he got there, his scoutmaster was banging frying pans to get rid of the bear. But the bear came through our campsite. We stayed locked in our tents. I didn't go nowhere. I said, I'm not dealing with this bear.
Yikes. So Nick says, I love watching movies, but sport movies are not my cup of tea. Theme, best stadium team intro. Basketball and hockey know how to do it right.
Yeah, they have some good ones.
Yes. Okay, so.
Locked in a tent protected by less than an inch of nylon.
No, it was a really good Boy Scout tent. It was good.
That's funny. Okay, so Dodgers are winning now, still 5-2.
5-2, yeah. Yeah, somebody just hit a home run. I don't know who though.
And the Broncos are up at halftime 16-3.
Wow.
You know what's funny? Is I actually predicted a 24-3 Broncos win prior to the game in a chat. I screenshot.
Look, it still might be. Saints defense might come out in the second half, shut them down. You know, you never know.
I cursed the Mets. I didn't curse them. I just said that it's typically always been the team that took the Brewers out. Doesn't mean it's always. I mean, there's a first time for everything, right, guys?
Absolutely.
Bo Nix.
I actually said when he was coming out of college, every year he dealt with a new offensive coordinator and got better as a quarterback every time. And he also switched head coaches 3 times. Remember, his head coach from Oregon was hired somewhere else his first year, and he had to learn a whole new system his last year in college. He did only do the 5 years of eligibility, but in those 5 years, every year he improved. Remember when they almost beat Georgia in Georgia's national championship run in week 1 of that season? Bo Nix put on a clinic. They couldn't stop him. So, that being said, I said because of that, he might adapt well into the NFL and not take as long to learn a NFL playbook, which will make he doesn't have as high of a ceiling, but he's almost at that ceiling already. Kind of like when Mac Jones came out of college. I said he was almost at his ceiling when he came out of Alabama.
Yeah.
He just went to a very bad situation where he couldn't even hit the rest of his ceiling potential.
Yikes. Okay. So, what is happening in your guys' towns, guys? Ralph, what's happening in your town?
Not a whole lot. Russell Wilson's going to start this Sunday, his first start this year. A lot of people are upset, fired up around here about it. A lot of people are criticizing the decision by Mediocre Mike. But I think it's a good decision because A, he's the starting quarterback, and B, he was promised he would be the starting quarterback. And C, Justin Fields got to fix a few things up in his game. So I would like to see Justin Fields sit down and watch Russell Wilson put on a clinic because I think he's going to. Our offensive line's a little choppy right now, but you know what? I think they're going to pull it out. I predicted on my radio show today 17-13 Steelers against the Jets. Maybe even more than that, depending on the kind of game Russell Wilson has. But I said 17-13 because the Steelers are good at pulling out these games at the last minute. Also, the hockey Penguins 3-2-0. They just won 6-5 in overtime last night. So the Riverhounds are getting ready to close up their season, beat the Charleston Battery 2-0. And other than that, we got property taxes going up here and some other stuff happening, politics and whatnot. We got Trump and Kamala Harris coming here, so that's what's going on.
Jeremy, what's happening in your town?
Well, we all know we're reeling and praying for Hutchinson to recover as fast as possible, but not earlier than is necessary. We want him back at 100%, whether that's this season in the playoffs or next season. That being said, we're all waiting with a bated breath to see what this defense can do without Aiden Hutchinson for the first time since he was drafted. The guy plays 91% of the snaps. So we're hoping that AG is going to dial up some exotic blitz packages for the Minnesota Vikings and continue to stuff the run on defense as we have done, whether he was in the lineup or not. If that happens, the Vikings may have a very long day. Aaron Jones is dealing with a hamstring injury and it was limited in practice today. Even though he had the bye week to get healed, he ended up with a hammy in the one day of full practice he had on Friday last week. So he's questionable on whether or not he'll be ready to go. TJ Hawkinson just had his 21-day active window brought up, and he has not been put onto the 53-man roster as of 4 p.m. today. So that makes him ineligible for Sunday's game. They also lost Blake Cashman for the next 2 to 3 weeks due to turf toe. So they're reeling right now. Plus, they had a D lineman that is out and a couple of defensive backs that are in limited practice, but not looking like they'll be able to go. So with all of that, and they just traded for Cam Akers from the Texans, which is kind of a funny story if you think about it, because Cam Akers didn't like the deal that Minnesota offered him, went to the Texans for more money, and then he gets traded back once everybody gets healthy there to Minnesota for a 7th-round pick. That's almost a slap in the face to Cam Akers from both teams. Minnesota didn't feel like it was worth giving up more than a 7th, and Texans didn't ask for more than a 7th. And he may have to be their RB1, and he's nowhere near as good as Aaron Jones.
So I'm going to go with, I'm going to talk a little bit about, obviously, what the group is not going to like, because I'm going to talk about my Packers, of course. So they let go Brandon Narvelson, who missed, again, 5 of his 17 field goals. It's like a trend, I want to say, though, in the league. There are some that are hitting, and then there's some that are like missing. Like if you watch that Jets game the other night, like they were hitting the uprights and out. So they signed Brandon McManus. Now this is going to be the 3rd kicker in the last 2 years, because we let Andres Carlson go, who made 27 out of 33 last year. Yeah, I don't know.
Jay says bad holder. Cut the holder.
McManus, the problem with McManus is he still has some outside of football legal issues. Not good.
No.
Well, Brandon McManus, the stuff he was accused of, he was acquitted of it. That doesn't mean they dropped the charges. That means that he was found completely innocent and not guilty. What he was accused of was bad, but the girl that accused him of it they found out it was mistaken identity.
Okay.
Because he was just at the party, and she was the last one that she saw while coherent. So you can say what you want about how bad that is, but in all actuality, he was cleared.
Patty, we can't sign Jake Bates. He's on Detroit. We'd have to trade for him, and Detroit's not going to give him up anytime soon. Let's face it, because they got him good. They got him at a reasonable price, and he's doing very well. He did very well in the other league. And so I'm going to say that lately kickers are not, they're hard to come by, to find ones that are reliable.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's not good this year. There's a couple guys sitting out there.
Mhm.
Steelers put a guy on Mike Wright. He or Matt Wright. He comes in and plays when Boswell's hurt. Fortunately, we were able to get a punter, Corliss Waitman, and he's done a pretty decent job because Cameron Johnson went down. So but kickers, you're right, they're hard to come by, hard to find, and the ones you do get, you got to pray they can make field goals. I mean, it's, you know.
And we were pretty lucky. For the longest time, we had Mason Crosby, and he did very well for us. And so we were fortunate in that for those years that we had him. But so back to, let's see. Oh, Ralph, here's a question for you. Do you really think Mike Tomlin is mediocre?
Yes. It's about Super Bowls. It's not about 9-8 records. He's mediocre. The owner's mediocre. Nobody cares. So you know what? We have a mediocre football team. We'll see what happens this year, though. I said
Patty,
that if the Steelers go to the Super Bowl, I will do all my shows naked. So we'll see what happens.
Patty, in all actuality, Jake
You're
Bates
right, Jack.
visited with 4 teams in the area of the Midwestern region before the season was over. He had an interview with the Packers, he had an interview with the Bears, he had an interview with the Vikings, he had an interview with the Browns, the interview with the Bengals, and an interview, I believe, with Pittsburgh, because that's as far as that region was covered. Jake Bates in the offseason, the kicker that from the UFL that was bombing all the kicks. But as soon as he was able to sign with somebody, once the Michigan Panthers was out of the playoffs, he immediately contacted Detroit because he was familiar with Ford Field, and that was where he had all of his success, where he hit 100% of his field goals while in the UFL.
All right, Virginia Tech was up 28-3, and now it's 28-21. Boston College caught up.
So, Jay, your random basketball question. Does Milwaukee win it if healthy, or did the Damian Lillard trade end up not working out? What I'm going to say to that is defense wins championships, and Damian does not play defense like Drew Holiday did. I miss Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday did both. And he had an awesome season with Boston, and it was unfortunate that he's no longer with the Bucks. The Bucks do need to be healthy, though. Can they win it all? Yes, they can, but they need to be healthy, and they need to learn how to really play together and gel together. And I think part of when you get I don't know if I would call Damian a superstar, but you would think because of the contract he has, that they need to learn how to work together and gel together, him and Giannis and all the other guys. And the problem is they have those 2 top guys. Middleton's got to stay healthy, because if Middleton doesn't, there goes the 3. Because we all know Giannis isn't good at hitting free throws. So if he's out there and they're going to foul him. So you really need all 5 guys, and you need depth, because Middleton has not been able to stay healthy for I don't know how long. So do I think it was a bad trade? I miss Drew Holiday. Yes. But yeah, I don't think I would call him a superstar either. But he has a big contract. Let's put it that way. So whether you think he's a superstar or not, someone that commands as much of the salary as he does, you've got to kind of put him in a different category than all your other players, because you have one and you have a couple that obviously Giannis is up there too. And Giannis fell in love with the city fell in love with him, and they embraced him, and kudos to him for staying in such a small market, because let's face it, Milwaukee is not a big market like some of your other, like your New Yorks and your other, a lot of your other teams that have a lot more money and stuff like that. But that's my take on, and I'm not a huge basketball person. But I do follow my Bucks though at times.
Well,
Yes.
Candy, let me say this. Whether or not this guy's a bum, he still will get paid. And then on top of that, the team still has to play him because of the salary. And, that happens all the time in every sport. And now I see it's happening here. But I mean, it's crazy, but it's true,
Yes. Yes. It's, I think it's kind of weird that we're already talking basketball, but I guess it is October. Basketball and hockey are,
November 3rd is the start of the season.
Yeah.
And how about that, Detroit fans? Pistons won their last preseason game.
Wow.
Jaden Ivey looked like a superstar out there. He had 16 points, 8 boards, and 6 assists.
Well, this game is slow. This baseball game. They're only in the fifth inning.
Yes.
Yeah, there's been a lot of hitting and not a lot of scoring.
Oh, somebody just got hit by a pitch. One of the Mets. Whoa.
One of the Mets players?
Yeah. Yamamoto hit the Met player, and I'm trying to see who it is.
Francisco Alvarez was hit by.
Alvarez, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And
He's been
I wouldn't
hitting the
say
ball
that
well.
Jay, I wouldn't say they're looking like they're going to lose 5-2. I don't know. I mean, this is bottom of 5. The one thing you can honestly
he hit
say,
him right in the hamstring.
not
Whoa.
until the end of the ninth.
Yeah, he hit him right in the hamstring with that ball. Wow.
Yep, mid thigh. What?
I have nothing more to add.
Anything else, guys, that you want to talk about tonight?
I just want to thank everybody for their kind words on my emails and Facebook and all that when I had my eye issues this week. So thank you.
I do want to add one more thing. If the Lions fans are serious about wanting to trade for somebody but not spend the farm to get somebody big, we should be praying that the Patriots beat the snot out of the Jaguars come Sunday morning. Because rumor is out of Jags country, there'll be a fire sale and a lot of big defensive names go on the trade block at that time. And I'm talking both of their defensive ends. So if you want to trade for the big guy, Josh Allen will be there. But personally, I would go for the first round pick that hasn't lived up to his billing yet, because you could probably get him for a day 3 pick and a late day 2 pick.
Yes.
Thanks, Jay.
Okay. So, Ralph, how can people get a hold of you?
Facebook, Twitter, X platforms, also LinkedIn, and I also have my own YouTube channel. Please subscribe. I need 24 more to make 200 by the end of the year, and we're coming up on 60, 80 days or something before the end of the year. So you have a lot of time yet to give me 24 subscribers so I can make it to 200. And also, I have my 2 radio shows. Well, 1 radio show right now on 1250 AM, 92.5 FM. The Answer here in Pittsburgh, called Sports Corner, with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. And then coming Saturday, November 9th, the Ralph Williams Show on 1250 AM, 92.5 FM. The Answer as well. So I have that coming up, and check out all my archive shows on my YouTube channel, Ralph Williams, RW Media. Also, don't forget to check my website out, www.rwmediaproductions.com.
All righty. I guess that means it's me now, right?
It's you. Yes.
Well, of course, you can find my writings on the SouthFloridaTribune.com under the Motor City Tribune heading. And other than that, you can find me right here on the South Florida Tribune channel on Tuesdays, occasionally on Inside the Pigskin. Wednesdays, I'm on NoFilter.net with Scott on the Motor City Mad Mouth Show. And of course, Thursday night Fire Up right here, where I am actually the co-host, and I'm here every week unless I'm dead. Then, of course, you can find me on my channel where I go live every day of the week, including when I'm on this channel or someone else's channel, because I always share it back here. That's Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions. Might be rebranding that to Kneecap Sports Network. Just because we have so many shows going live into my channel, I can't just say it's about the Lions anymore. We have a Bears show, a Packers show, a Viking show, 3 different NFL shows. It's kind of crazy right now.
Also, I forgot to mention Saturday morning, 9 a.m. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch platforms, the External Bum Show with me, Ralph Williams, Scott Morganroth, and also Jeremy Ballrick, Leo Haggerty. Leo said he will be on the show this week. Jeremy will be here, depending on how his back feels, and we're going to find out what's going on if Scott will be available. So if not, Candy. So
I'll be here if I got to be off camera.
Candy will not be filling in this week because I had off today because I was doing some other errands and things we needed to do. So I am actually working Saturday morning. So
so you won't be on the air. Okay, that's fine.
I will not. No. What was I gonna say? Well, let's get into Scott. My husband wrote a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. Talks about Scott's 40 plus years in the media industry and how it has changed. It has a picture of him with a young Muhammad Ali, and there's just a couple other pictures. Go check it out. It is available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there's a link to our merchandise store as well. And one of the things, Jay, I would say is you ask why we don't link all of the shows on one site so people can easily view them all, because we all do different shows and we talk about different things, and sometimes we're streaming at the same time, so we can't stream to one spot. So but when Jeremy comes on here, he's streaming to his site, and a lot of times when we go on other ones, we'll stream to ours as well.
It's just called smart. It's smart viewing.
Yes.
Because what happens is when we share them to our own channels, usually if the people like what they see here, they're going to want to check out the other shows, so they'll go subscribe to the other channel.
I just figured out how to stream to my audience right here. I just seen the thing here. So
yeah, you can click that link now, and it'll automatically be on there, and your viewers can see it later too, Ralph.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll check it out.
And Ralph, that's how we know, like Jay is watching through Jeremy's right now, and you can tell because it shows you the link on when he comments. So he's not watching it through South Florida Tribune; he's watching it through Jeremy's, which is great because we want you guys to, go out there and view other and subscribe to everybody's channel, because everybody is giving us their free time. So please, go and check them out as well. Go to our website, www.southfloridatribune.com. Jeremy writes, my husband writes, I take pictures. Go to our YouTube channel. We've put up some new stuff lately. We obviously cover the Hurricanes. So after each Hurricanes home football game or away, with some of the away games, we've actually put up interviews. But Scott did an interview on Saturday with a military veteran that actually won a silver medal in the Paralympics. And so he did a 13-minute video where he talked and asked all kinds of questions. So go to our YouTube channel and check it out. And if you have any suggestions or want to be a guest on our show, you can always email us. So Jay, if you want to be a guest, you can always email us, southfloridatribune@gmail.com. We'll bring you on. And no offense, you can be on one of Scott's shows, or you can be on what Scott would call the country club show, and the one that I here run. So, but thanks, Jay. I'm glad you watched the video and thought it was good. But yes, Jay, you should go back in the archives and find the one about Field of Dreams, because we did do a couple of videos on Field of Dreams, and that was pretty cool. So, Jeremy, you want to take us home?
Of course. try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. Thank you for watching, and have a great
I
night.
figured out how to do it, Jeremy. Thank you.
Much love. Bye, guys.